On the air. We are on the air. Hey, everybody.
It's not working here. Oh, we are live.
We're on the air. All right. Hey, I am the Cubist.
Night.
Night. Jeez, okay. Sorry.
I can hear my voice already. Hey, I am the Cubist. Patrick Hillier filling in for Bill Corey Jr. Thank you, Bill, for letting me do this today. And we are doing Excited About Origins. We have some guests with us tonight from my left. I will start with Sean. Sean, tell us who you are.
Hey, I'm Sean Pearson. I am one half of the All the Bits podcast, the better looking half of the show.
Wow.
Just FYI, Michelle. The better looking half.
Nice. And in the middle, we have regular returning guest chair host, Brandon and Kemp.
Hello. How are you? I'm not going to Origins, but I'm here just to soak up all the excitement.
Nice. And help teams under control. And then Ryan. Yes. Ryan, I'll let you pronounce your last name.
Yeah, this is Ryan Gatalski, part of One Board family, and I run the site with my wife and kids and our good friend Rick White.
Nice. Thanks for coming on, Ryan.
Yeah.
And Sean. So yeah, I pulled these two folks in because I know both of them are going to Origins, and that was kind of the subject of today's show. So we have a no timer, that would be Brandon. And then we have what I'm calling a first timer. Is that you, Ryan? This is your first time, right?
Yes, this is my first time at Origins. I'm super excited. I'm like a kid in a candy shop.
That's pretty exciting. And then Ryan, what's your history with Origins? Not Ryan, but Sean.
I've been to Origins a couple times now. Been to Columbus one more time than however many times I've been to Origins, and I absolutely love Columbus. The first time I was there for a work thing, I fell in love with the city, and then I became obsessed with board games and found out that there was a giant board game fair there. Yep. So it gave me more excuses to go back, and yeah, so super excited.
Sure. All right, and we were talking a little bit this off the air. This is my 10th or so time going to Origins, and probably about my 100th time going to Columbus. I've been working there for my job for the last 18 or so years, so I know the town very well. So hey, I want to chime in quickly about something. So I listened to Blue Peg Pink Peg today, and Christina had a great thing to say about cons. It is okay to not go to cons. Not everybody has to be able to go. We are lucky that we're able to go. You don't have to get, you don't have to worry, have FOMO or whatever. It's okay to just hang out with your pals. Ryan, you had said to me off air that you've been going to a lot of local cons. Those are great. I know. I enjoy those just as much too. Yeah. One of the reasons I go to Origins so well, as much as I do, is because it's local to me. As well as Gen Con are more or less local to me. So it's just a matter of convenience as much as anything. Not so much as a matter of privilege. But anyway, it is great that I do get to go. But I just want to throw that out there. So. That was a great thing that she had to say, and I thought it was worth repeating.
For sure.
Definitely.
So when are you guys heading up? How are you going to get there?
So we are, I'm actually going to go to work like a normal day on Monday, and then Tuesday morning we're going to head out. We've got about a 10.5 hour drive to get there. So we'll be getting there, arriving Tuesday night sometime. Really looking forward to just taking in a little bit of the city, and then starting up Wednesday morning and just heading in and seeing what it's all about.
Sure. All right. So the con doesn't actually start till Thursday.
Yeah. So are they? I guess are any of the halls open at all?
So the official exhibition hall doesn't open until 10 a.m. on Thursday.
Gotcha.
Now there's periphery halls that some of the excuse me, the vendors have their demo booths in. Okay. Those may or may not be running. Some of them are. And of course there's excuse me, there'll be plenty of people there. There are lots of people that arrive Tuesday night. I'm just teasing you a little bit. There are people that arrive Tuesday and Wednesday night, and there will be just games set up around for people to play or in the play area.
Awesome.
So that's not an issue. It's just a lot of people might arrive and think, hey, it's not actually officially. You can get your badges. You can do things. Maybe there's scheduled events.
There's scheduled events, yeah.
Yeah, there's just not. It's not the official.
Yeah, it's not the full blown first day. Yeah,
exactly. And then Sean, you're on that similar schedule.
Yeah, I get in Tuesday Eve, like Tuesday night, Tuesday at, I don't know, like 5 or 6 o'clock local time on Tuesday. And yeah, I like being there for the Wednesday. I usually like to do, I don't know if they still call it like Educator Day or something, where they have different things on like gamification and different events on that. So I like to take in like 1 or 2 of those events during the day on Wednesday.
Okay. Yeah, I've just started expanding my schedule. I always used to go up Thursday morning because I could just get up at 6 and be there at 8, and the hall opened at 10. And then I started adding Wednesday, and I've always tried to save my vacation days for other things, and I keep hearing more and more about people being there Wednesday and Tuesday, and so now I'm going to go up Wednesday after a meeting. So. Bosses stink. I got to have a meeting till noon on Wednesday, and then I got to drive from there, straight from that meeting there. So I'll show up in a suit or something. No, I won't. I'll stop at my house. I gotta put on some sort of nerd shirt, maybe a t-shirt.
You got to keep that cred up.
Gotta keep my nerd cred going, man.
Yeah.
I didn't put that on the agenda. I mean, I don't know. That's a big thing for me is packing. There's only like 3 or 4 days that you're there, but I'll bring probably 10 to 12 nerd t-shirts and struggle every day about the right thing to dress is. And I might go back to my room and change halfway during the day, planning out my, I'm not kidding. I've literally done that. I'm like schedule, like what meetup am I going to go to? And I've got to wear the right shirt to the right meetup.
Midday outfit changes. So celebrities do that.
Celebrities. Who are you talking about? I don't know who you're talking about. Hey, Joshua's in the meetup room. He wants to play more Nuclear War. We had a great game of that last year. It is packed right over there. I've got 3 games packed. 1, El Grande, 4, Power Grid, Ginkopolis. So Brandon's going to miss out on that. And Nuclear War sitting. I just started packing.
Did you see me tag you on Facebook a couple months back about Nuclear War? No. And about the Geekway library? Actually bought one of the original, basically what they were using to test it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got it. They won some big bid on some collection, and that happened to be in it. Cool. So,
all right, lost track of my agenda here. We can still chat. Oh, yeah, I know I'm a squirrel. Ryan had a great question. So what's the history of Origins? This was a good one.
Yeah.
So this was first held in 1975, but it actually moved around, different locations when it first started. And some of the old timers in my gaming group talk about this. And then in 1996 is when it was finally kind of anchored in the Columbus Convention Center. So it's been there since then. When I talk about the old timers, another thing I didn't talk about too is there's ribbons and stuff. Ryan, have you investigated any of those?
Yeah, so I investigated a little bit, and actually that was one of the most confusing things for a first timer or for an outsider trying to understand exactly how all that works out. So sure. I think between all the blogs that I've read and everything like that, I feel like I got a decent grasp on it. So
sure. Well, as a board gaming podcast, I'm going to say nowadays, I think that a board game ribbon pass is a necessary thing. The open play area is kind of shrunk down to nothing, and so that's where you need to get that just to find free play space. Now, there's also a great library there, so you guys can go in and it'll have about 800 games in it. Last time I checked, I was just sent it to Megan Nexer. A link to their library because it's on the Geek List. It's on BGG, and you can search and find what games they have available. Nice. And that's where Sean and I were looking at that because what are we playing, Sean?
Oh yes, I should put that in my DC Deck Builder.
DC Deck Builder, and we wanted to make sure that was available for us to play. From the library. So I'll be able to go into the library and grab it. Now you don't have to play the games in the library. You can go to the library and check them out and take them wherever you want to play them. But there's an infamous story of Travis Hill and I trying to play the Colonists last Saturday. And we sat down and we got kicked off our table and we moved to somewhere else and we couldn't find a spot. And then we eventually moved upstairs to the balcony overlooking the Pride Parade and had my tablecloth with me, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Set that out as a picnic blanket, and me and him and Dan Halstead played the Colonists while watching the Pride Parade, having a quiet little picnic on the floor, because that was
awesome.
It's a great story, and other than my bones can't handle sitting on the floor for a 2 or 3 hour game of the Colonists. It is a great story. Let's see. So Ryan, you talked about you're coming up with your family. So your wife?
Yeah. So me and my wife, Erin, who writes for One Board Family also, okay. The two of us are coming up. And then Rick, who is our really good friend who writes with us, does a ton of work on the podcast and video reviews and things like that. He's going to be meeting us up there. And so the three of us are going to be attending each day and really excited about it since it's all of our first times going.
Great. That sounds exciting. And you said this is your first big con, right?
Yeah, this is my first big con. We've gone to some local things, gone up to Atlanta a couple times. Actually, I really wish I had been able to fit in CMON this year in Atlanta. That's really, I feel like that would have prepped me a little more for this, but hopefully I'll get one in next year. So
nice. Well, I think this will be exciting. This is this is big. I mean, we were talking off air. This is in the 15 to 18,000 range. I think last year was about 17,000. I don't know how much distraction the one out in Utah is going to be. Brandon, do you know how big that's supposed to be?
I don't think it's going to be very. Isn't that this week though?
I thought it was like right now.
Yeah, it's right now.
It's just this week. It's not the same time.
It's very kind of specific in what it's doing. So it's not going to have a lot of outside interest. It's going to be designers. It's going to be, people within the industry, I think, are wanting to be in the industry.
Okay.
Attending that more than anything.
Right.
So you're talking numbers wise, this is almost like the UK Games Expo.
Yes, that was the big hubbub last year. Was those two were kind of fighting for who's first place in the.
And I just saw they hit 21K this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Origins not. Or I really doubt Origins will beat that number.
That's a lot of people.
So there you go.
Yeah. Sean, you don't think this feels like a crowded con though, do you?
Not at all. No.
You've been to Gen Con?
Yeah, I went to Gen Con last year, and this is a lot more comfortable.
Yes.
And
Gen Con's like a cattle hall. I mean, just, you're just stuffed in there, and you're walking like
you feel like a piece of meat.
Yes.
Yeah. So here you definitely have more room to breathe. The area around the conventions, I think, better, a little bit nicer, so you can kind of just get out and take your breath and go get food or just get out, and it just kind of helps you to recharge if you're that type of person, which is really nice. And that's what I really like about this one. Yeah.
I just love the city.
Yeah.
If I had to move to another city in Ohio, I'd move to Columbus in a heartbeat. All right. So Sean, you're just going by yourself, huh?
Yes.
So it's just gonna be me and you playing games all weekend. I saw.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm down with that. That's good.
Then you wanted to play Gink. You want to learn Gink, so
yeah, for sure.
Somebody else chimed in. They wanted to learn Gink too. I'm all about teaching people new things. I like that. So
definitely.
Hey, I'm gonna go sidetrack a little bit. Anyone know why this is here?
Oh, Pikachu. I gotcha.
Pikachu.
Why is it the head?
Because I wasn't get it if it was turned
around. Is this related to Pikachu's butt?
I don't actually have Pikachu's butt. I have Pikachu's hat. That was 2 years ago. That was pretty classic.
That was awesome. That was great when people were tweeting out. I forgot what was the hashtag.
Hashtag Pikachu's butt was actually trending. So did you hear that story, Ryan?
Nice. I have not heard that one. That's awesome.
So I don't know what booth it was. Somebody had a giant inflatable Pikachu, like Pikachu card game, trading card game, or whatever.
The Pokemon people.
The Pokemon people, in the hall, and right behind it there was a bunch of open playing card tables for us to play board games on. So there just became this hashtag of tweeting like, "Hey, meet me behind Pikachu's butt to play games," and it started trending on Twitter that this hashtag Pikachu's butt, and then there's a Twitter handle. Pikachu's butt is a Twitter account, parody account that somebody's made up.
That's great.
That exists. And unfortunately, the next year there was no inflatable Pikachu, so I since have the hat and kind of play homage to Pikachu.
That's good.
Yeah, it lives in infamy.
Yeah.
Nice.
No one will ever forget the butt.
Yeah. So as a veteran con goer, one of the things I don't do is I don't really sign up for events anymore. I guess part of that is, and Ryan, you said the word famous, and I don't think it's famous, but I just know a lot of people, right? I know a lot of people at cons. One of the benefits is I have I get a kind of photographic memory for faces. So if I've met you once, and I can pick somebody out of a crowd and know who they are and why, and walk up to him and start talking to him. Hey, you're Ryan from the podcast. And a lot of times that freaks people out because I know them and I'll start talking to them like that. And they're like, who are you? Why do I know you? And I'll have to remind them of who I am. And it's a good idea. Here's a tip is, you'll have your name badge on. The name badges they give you kind of stink. Get the good ones. I don't have one handy. If you can find ones that have a double string, if this one doesn't, sometimes they do, so that always keeps your name forward. Okay, is a good tip. Get a label maker or a piece of paper or a Sharpie and write your Twitter handle on it, because everyone knows you by your Twitter handle. If you
cool.
Don't. Because they may not know what your real name is. A lot of people don't go by their real names or don't have a picture of them in their Twitter account. And put a picture of you on your Twitter account like this week. Before you go, so people start recognizing your face rather than or
just put Patrick's picture up there.
Or you could put my picture up. Yeah,
exactly. We got 20 Patricks.
Or a picture of Pikachu.
Yeah,
would work too. So, I got off on a tangent here. I'm just one to wander around and kind of, tweet to people or occasionally set up a game with people in advance, but I don't sign up for events anymore.
Okay.
So I kind of ask that of you guys. Have you searched the grid for anything that's of interest to you? And,
does Origins do a lot of events like a Gen Con? Or
sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, they have a good grid. I used to sign up for things like, I remember signing up for learn how to play CO2 and learn how to play Agricola and X-Wing events. I remember one of my favorites was when X-Wing came out. Me and Alan learned to play X-Wing, and I got to say, "Luke, I am your father." Sorry, that was horrible, but I thought it was hilarious.
That's okay.
So, it's the first time Origins attendee, I guess that's the thing. I looked at that spreadsheet and I just looked at it and stared at it for a while, because I think the night I got off of work and later on that night I said, oh yeah, the events have opened up. I'm going to check it out, look at this list. I just got overwhelmed. I looked at the list. I was like, I have no clue what I'm doing. So I deleted the Excel file.
Fair enough.
Well, another good thing for it is to find things that you can't normally do.
Yeah.
Like say, I can never get in a game of Twilight Imperium or whatever that game is that takes 10 hours to play. Or for me, it's Advanced Civ, or I don't know, pick some game that you just really love that you just don't get to play very often. Search for that, and maybe you can get that played. I mean, that's another good thing to do at these big cons. You can do that at your home con too, but I'm just saying those courts of events will be set up and scheduled.
Yeah.
Or the rare games, or games that you just want to learn how to play that are just kind of hard to be taught. So, yeah, there's another thing Jason talked about in the game is a lot of things. You might get some cool opportunities. Vitala Serta was teaching Lisboa last year as a scheduled event.
That's really cool.
And something you could do, you could get like the tokens, the generic tokens. So if you show up in an event and it's not full, or people no show, which I feel like happens a lot. My first year at Origins, I like signed up for a whole bunch of events, and I think I landed up going to one of them.
Yeah,
the rest I kind of wasted.
My problem. I'm just really forgetful.
So, and I think they refund you. Do they still refund you the tokens too, Patrick?
The generics? Yeah, at the end you do, and I've got a whole bunch of them as souvenirs. So, do you know about the generics, Ryan?
Yeah, so that's actually somebody written a blog and talked about just buying $20 worth of generic tokens and using those throughout the time. And when at the end of the con, you can just return them for cash value. And I think that's the plan right now. Is that's what we're going to do. And you also said something about the gaming room. That's like a $20 charge, and it's a ribbon, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, that's the other thing that we were going to do. So basically, just get some generic tokens and then use in the room.
Sure. Yep. And there's other ribbons too. There's an After Dark, but that's sold out. There's like maybe a werewolf ribbon. There's probably a Puffing Billy's ribbon. That's what my old buddies do. That's like all train games in one room.
Okay.
There's a couple other themed rooms. Again, I don't pay much attention to those, so I can't really tell you about them. Hey, Chad's in the chat room. Let's see. No, let's see. Sean, you said you were signing up for an event. Lords of Baseball. What is that?
Oh, so that's So I try and sign up for for sure something different. Like you said, something I wouldn't do. My last time I was there, I think I signed up for a role-playing game where I was a cat, which was awesome. So I didn't sign up for any cat-based role-playing games this year, but I've heard about this Lords of Baseball game. Anyone who listens to the All the Bits podcast knows I'm kind of a huge baseball fan. And this is kind of like a baseball simulator, a card-based baseball simulator game. And knowing the people I know, it's a game I know I would never, ever get a chance to actually play. So it'll give me an opportunity to actually try it out, and seems pretty cool. So I figured that would be my one main thing I sign up for.
Yeah, that does look fun. It's like a nice economics kind of baseball game.
Yeah. So it's a very certain type of person who I think would really enjoy that.
Yep.
So,
and there's some other events too. I think North Star is doing another thing for us this year. I don't know if you guys saw the Vegas Witch and Wagers Kickstarter that came out this year. So they released that at Origins last year, and they had a special party, and they invited a lot of people to it, and had it in a speakeasy in a basement across the street. And they had it was a lot of fun. It was a great event. Bruce Vogue was sitting at a table as the dealer, and we all crowded around and just had a really good time at that event. So, those are unofficial events that I know about and I have on my schedule. That sort of thing.
Some of the bigger companies too, like I think I've never been, but I know AEG does like a big thing where you pay like a certain amount of money and you go and there's food and you get a bunch of games and stuff
that
like
thing's always huge. Yeah, and you get a big box. Sure. Their black box.
Oh, so they do their game night thing there, or is that at Gen Con? Okay.
That's at Gen Con too, but I think they might do it there too.
They do that there, yeah.
Yeah, last I heard, they weren't sure if there was. They were going to be there, so.
Well, you never know. I mean, everyone's hit or miss.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so we talked about events. There's a bunch of social events. So I'm just going to read off some ones that I know about. Where'd they go? All right, so Board Game Blitz, good podcast that you guys might listen to. They've got a lunch schedule. It's probably maybe too late to sign up. I don't know. It is at Barley's, which of course is famous for their beer and pierogies, among other things.
Hey, Patrick.
Yeah.
Rick in the chat just wants to talk about baseball for the remainder of the podcast.
Okay.
Everyone okay with that?
All right. The chat can talk about baseball all they want. I already had to talk about ice ball with Tim Fowler earlier today, so I don't need any more sports ball talk.
You're going to get Rick excited. He's a Tim Fowler's fanboy.
Yes. All right. Anyway, speaking of Barley's, anyway, that's Thursday at sometime. You'll have to go to their website and get it. It's around lunchtime. Speaking of Barley's, you'll get a little coupon book when you get your registration together, and in the back of that is a coupon to run over to Barley's and have lunch and get a glass. I've got 3 or 4 of those glasses in my cabinet.
Nice.
They usually run out of those sometime Thursday night or probably Wednesday. Sometime about Thursday, they will run out of those if you really want one. there's good. They're fun souvenir glass, like a pint glass. And Barley's is a decent restaurant. Barley's is right across the street from the convention center on the way to the North Market. Kind of German themed restaurant. It's okay. Been to Barley's, Sean?
Yeah. I always miss the pint glass though.
Okay. You got to get it like the first day. My favorite thing was Alan and I, we went to the thing Thursday morning and I walked by, I don't remember whose booth it was, like Mayday or something. And I got Chopstick Mega Dexterity Challenge 3000. If you guys ever seen that game.
Yeah.
You know, you have that one?
Yeah, we played that one. Yep.
Oh, okay. And we brought it over to Barley's and we're playing it, you know, like while waiting for our food at Barley's. And that was one of the best times I ever had there. So, all right. Blue Peg, Pink Peg, another podcast is having a meetup night Thursday at 7. Again, across from the convention center somewhere. I'm pondering popping my head in there and saying hello. That's a combined with the Brawling Brothers and Man vs. Meeple, if I remember correctly. The ladies over at Great Way Games are doing something from 6 to 10 on Thursday. Some guys at the Punchboard Media Group are doing a meetup Friday at 9:30 in the Unpub Room. Ryan, you're in Punchboard Media, aren't you?
Yes, we are. We got in there in the spring. We're super excited about being part of this.
Sorry, Chad. I'm responding to Chad there. Sorry, Ryan.
No, that should be.
Hey, yes, that's one of the reasons Ryan got invited. Not that he isn't, you know, having fun here, but you know, trying to bring in some of the new Punchboard guys here. So yes, Ryan, you'll be there, right? You're coming to the meetup?
Yeah. So myself and Aaron and Rick will all be there. We're excited about meeting everybody. I feel like we know some of you guys from just listening to the podcast and reading your review content and seeing you on Slack, and then now we actually get to meet you face to face, which is awesome.
Great. So yeah, last year the party was a hit. You know, I was the old curmudgeon said, no one's going to show up. Why are we doing this? We got way too many games, and I was really worried about it. And we shared space with
Check
Games. Thanks. And oh my gosh, tons of people showed up. Tons of people, you know, came by, stopped in, said hello. A bunch of people sat down, played games. I taught Marty. I think she's still in the chat room. Who were also in it. The what's their show, Marty and
Open Seat Gaming.
Open Seat Gaming. Taught them Adrenaline, and they ended up winning it that night. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. It was a nice event. And so this year we're doing it in the Punchboard Media room.
In the Unpub.
In the Unpub room, sorry. In the Unpub room. It's going to be the Punchboard Media room. We're in
it.
And the Unpub room was really nice last year. They had a space at the end of the hallway. I'm assuming it's the same space. I don't know. It was sponsored by Renegade.
Yep.
And that's a space where you know, people are demoing their games that they're working on, and I'm looking forward to that. So that was a nice space last year. So we'll see here. There's Marty. Yeah, Marty Wormworth. She's in the chat room. They're also part of the Punchboard Media Group, and they will be there. Tons of people will be there. So I'm looking forward to that event. And then lastly, Heavy Cardboard is Saturday night at 7. So lots of social opportunities. So that's one of the reasons I'm not really thinking I'm going to actually get any games played, because I'll just be a social butterfly going around, flitting around, saying hi.
Busy drinking.
I'm drinking water. Anyway. That's kind of what I do nowadays. I just like to get around, socialize, and play games periodically here and there. I'll have my quiver full of games. So somebody mentioned getting outside. Sean, I think you did. You talked about getting outside and visiting outside in Columbus. What do you know about the region around the convention center?
I know, like, the CSU, the university.
Oh, okay.
I spent a lot. No, it's really nice grounds. I spent a lot of time there.
Okay.
And then just walking up and down like High Street, and obviously the North Market. And
that's what I was hunting for.
I've been there to go to the soccer team, sports ball team. I had the soccer team. I saw a soccer game.
The crew just they're moving out.
Oh, are they really?
We're just talking about that. Yeah, they're losing it, and now they're moving to Cincinnati or something.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm hoping
get on sports ball again. What are you doing?
I really want to see a Columbus Clippers game one day. So if anyone wants to go see a baseball game with me,
Fowler's going Friday night.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that would actually be awesome.
Come to the punch board thing. He's going to a baseball game instead.
I was going to say, we went to Gen Con, what was that, 2 years ago, and I just realized they had a minor league stadium there. I should have spent half my time there.
Well, the ice arena is right downtown. I don't know where anything else is. Anyway, hey, I getting back to the food subject. The more important,
part.
In the chat room, I just plugged in a link for my friend Eric's link. His Twitter is Games and Grub. If you don't know Eric Leith on Twitter, he did a really, really great blog on what to do in Columbus and where to eat and all that. And I'm just going to refer you guys to that for what to do. But the North Market's often spoke of. My spot to hit is the Polish market because I'm Polish. Ryan, you sound Polish.
Yes, good old Gutowski.
So when you first walk in, the right-hand side door, right straight ahead is Herbert's Deli, kind of sort of thing, and you get a couple pierogies and a sausage and some glurki stew meat thing on it, whatever it is. I don't know.
That's awesome.
I don't know. Just one of those, two of those, and some of that.
My wife will love trying all this new Polish stuff that she has no clue about. It'll be great. You have to love my heritage.
There you go. And of course, Jenny's world famous ice cream is available in the North Market. Now I've not had it, but there's this fried chicken place that opened up on the second floor that everyone really raves about. And what else? There's a faux place there, and somebody likes the pretzels. Dan Halstead's wife talks about the pretzels. He talks about it all the time. Anyway, there's a tons of stuff. There's other things. There's hot sauce places and kitchen shop, and there's tons of stuff in the North Market.
Say Jason in the chat kind of told everybody to go check out Brassica. I have no idea what that is, but apparently he says North Market is great. Walk north a bit up High Street near that Jenny's before Melt. Go there. You are welcome.
Okay. Yeah. So then if you head up North up High Street, you'll just go just over 675. There's a couple fancies like a steak place there, and then there's just a long strip. 3-4 miles of just stuff to do there. Coffee shops, and there's a cool little toy store. Oh God, I forget the name of it. It's like funky old kids toys from when I was a kid. Nice. play school toys and old Star Wars figures and some rare old board games and stuff in it. And that's a fun place to go to. My favorite place up there is Lemongrass, which is a kind of a fusion Asian place. It's got, Thai food and sushi. And then a Melt. Everyone talks about Melt. They're giant grilled cheese sandwiches.
I've not been to Melt yet.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, so anyway, like I said, I sent the blog. I would be surprised if Brass, if it's that good, isn't on Eric's blog. So there's a Pride thing going on while we're there. I don't know if you know about that.
Yep.
In years past, I'm going to chime in with another story. There used to be a naked bike parade. A fun little story. So I was playing a game of Suburbia with some gentlemen from a different podcast, Secret Cabal guys, and they all went up to get a fresh air break or something. I don't know what, and they all came back and like, "You're not gonna believe what just happened! Oh my God!" And midnight nude bike thing went by as they were all standing in the front of the convention center, and somebody got it on video, and they came back and they were all excited about it. And I was like, I guess that happens like every year, and then they shifted it, the convention, a couple of weeks, and now, I'd like it. Netters goes, we have nude bike day every day in San Francisco. Yeah, we're a little more subdued here in Ohio. It's a little more special. So anyway, so they shifted it, and now we're in smack dab in the middle of Pride. So I think I mentioned earlier the Pride Parade happens. So I mentioned it twofold. If you want to participate, which is great, you can put down your games and you can go out and watch the parade or participate in the Pride events. There's a festival site not very far at all away. There's a bunch of Pride activities and all that. Like I said, you can go up on the second floor at the very north end of the convention center. There's a second floor area, and that's a great place to go watch the parade from inside the air conditioned areas and watch the Pride Parade, because it goes right down the main street. Now, the other reason I wanted to mention this is if you're hungry and you haven't planned your day very well, you need to take the bridge, which is in the middle of the convention center, go over to the Hyatt, or is it the Hilton? The Hilton, and then go down through the Hilton, and then you can walk over to the North Market because you cannot get across that street while the parade is going on. So that's a twofold reason. So Saturday afternoons, there's a lot of activity going on outside. So plan your day accordingly. Hey, jumping back to food, I did want to mention there is a food court at the south end of the convention center. It's pretty mediocre. Except for I think the Greek deli isn't too bad. That's where I get breakfast most of the time when I'm at the hotel down at that end of the convention center. Let's see. Pride events. All right.
Man, you made it sound like the only thing to do is at this convention is to go outside and eat and see other things. Aren't you there for something else, Patrick?
It is. Thank you for getting me back onto. This is a board gaming convention, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
So Thursday morning at 10 o'clock, we're all gonna get in a herd, just like at Origins, of thousands of people, or tens of, maybe 100 people.
Tens of hundreds.
Tens of hundreds. Tens of dozens. Yes. Tens of dozens. I'm going to say tens of dozens of us will be crowded around the doors in front of the arch, and we will open the doors at 10 o'clock, and we will walk in quickly to the booths to get our
stuff.
To get our stuff. So what are people thinking about getting? Ryan, I will let you go first.
Yeah. So
is there anything on that list of huge games that they're actually selling? Not just demo.
That they're selling. That's the thing. I'm trying to remember right now.
You can talk about whatever you want. I'm just teasing.
Yeah. Do you know if Welcome 2 is going to be on for sale?
They will have limited numbers.
Yeah, they're going to have 100 of them for sale, and they had some for pre-order if you pre-ordered them. So that would be something you would want to rush to the Deepwater Games booth.
Yeah.
Headed up by one Noah Nasser.
That's the one that I'm probably most excited about, just because I've really enjoyed Roll and Rights and kind of the way that they've kind of kept going over the past couple of years and how they've evolved. And then the fact that it's a city building game. I'm huge into city building. Love Suburbia. Love Quadropolis.
Glad to hear that.
It's just the thing I love.
So we're kind of taking to there's no dice in Welcome to, right? This is all cards. So we're calling this a draw and draw. No longer going right.
See, with Kokoro, we called it a flip and right.
There you go. Yeah.
That's clever. And so that was Welcome to. All right.
And then Reef. Do you know if Reef is going to be on sale?
Don't know.
Yeah, that's
I don't know that it is. I know the other one is. Give me 2 seconds.
Brandon's here for backup support. Thank you.
You don't keep talking.
He's our fact checker. So
just gonna
official mispronouncer of names.
I'm the official clicking on the wrong thing person, apparently. Oh, where is Plan B? Actually, sorry, that's Next Move.
Yeah, that was Next Move Games. This is Emerson Matsauchi.
Matsauchi.
So what is
Okay. So Reef is demo only this time.
Okay, gotcha.
What is Reef?
So Reef looks really interesting. It's got this grid layout. I don't know. Just some of the preview coverage that I've seen on it. It's got this grid layout that everybody's working with, and you're using these you're drafting these cards, and because it's by the same guy who did Century, you have some of the same mechanics getting some of the cards, putting down a point value onto a card, and then somebody else coming around taking that card. I like the mechanics of being able to use the top of the card as placement, and then the bottom of the card as, I think it's like, it's almost like, from what I saw of some of the preview coverage, the bottom portion of the card is like water. And so you have placement at the top of the card, bottom of the card is scoring. So each card has almost two things that you do on it. I love the big, chunky, colorful pieces, and I think it's a really good family weight game. It's something that's going to be thinky enough for a gamer, but also something that kids are going to have fun with.
Yep. It is going to be a little bit of a, I'm not going to say a letdown, because that's not the word. After Azul, this is going to be more in line with the fammy, the younger kids, I think.
Yeah.
That's kind of why
All
I'm
right, everyone
focusing
needs
on
to
it
drink.
too.
Brandon brought up Azul.
Sorry. I can't help it. It's the same line of games, Patrick.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to Reef as well. I know it's up for pre-order. I think it's going to be their Gen Con release.
Okay.
Yep.
And do you guys know, as far as, do you know if Spy Club will be available? I think that's demo only.
Yep. Demo only. He was going to have a few. Did you back it?
I did not. No,
that
I
was going to say he was going to have a few. He said that he could bring so backers could pick it up. But
gotcha.
Other than that, just demos.
Yeah.
There was something in the Slack channel about that today.
Ken was talking about it. So
okay. Well, I forgot.
Yep. And plus Randy's wanting to be on some podcasts.
Oh, that's what it was. Some new game, yeah. So maybe we'll talk to him about it.
Yep.
All right. So Sean, how about you?
Yeah, so again, it's kind of trying to figure out what's for sale and what's interesting. Probably the one I'm most looking forward to that's coming out, even though it's already been released, is Carthago. Capstone is bringing that out. I know it's been out in Europe for a while. I don't know for how long, but it seems like a very like an action pointy game with multi-use cards and just bringing up the thing here. Pretty nice design to it too, and I think I was reading something by Clay on BGG, and he mentioned that the main thing they're doing is just improving the components, quality, card stock, and things like that, which I think from what I heard is a bit flimsy, the other release. So that'll be nice too. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Kind of the rest of the things I'm interested in are more of those things that I don't know a ton about, but I mentioned one, Dino Dunk here from Twin City Games. And this is a game with two dinosaurs playing basketball. It's a dexterity game.
As dinosaurs do.
As dinosaurs do. I mean,
are they T-Rexes? Because the arms... sorry.
Yeah, I know. That's a good point.
The arms are too short.
This wasn't very well
planned.
From the box
I had to even stop that joke.
Yeah, they're dunking balls into a volcano. That's what the box cover is.
I am scrolling to try to find this now.
Dino Dunk.
Wow.
And it is a dexterity game, so I think you're flicking the dinosaurs at each other and flicking them at the balls.
Hopefully they're eggs or basketballs, one of the two. That would be good.
Yeah. So I'm definitely I just want to try that. I don't know if it's something I'll buy. Yeah. And then the other one that seems interesting to me, again, along the kind of whole multi-use cards thing, is End of the Trail from Elf Creek Games. This is a game that has kind of a bluffing and push your luck mechanic to it, and you're using your cards for things like poker play and set collection, and again, I think you're also doing it to buy things, so they all have different multi-use cards to it. And I think this was on Kickstarter a while back. I vaguely remember seeing it. It's another game I really want to try. I don't know if I'll like it or not, but definitely to try out. And I know The Mind is coming out from Pandasaurus is actually releasing The Mind right here.
Yeah, they'll have it there.
Yeah. Has anyone played that 2-player?
Yeah, play it a 2-player.
Okay, I was just talking to my wife about it, and she was wondering whether or not we could do it.
Yeah, no, you can. It just goes longer. The only difference is 2 players goes longer than the 4 player.
Okay.
So I think that's definitely a game I'll be picking. I don't own the German one, but I'll definitely be picking that up.
Sure, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Ah, you people.
I just saw that.
Really trying.
I'm not acknowledging it, Patrick.
I was looking through the BGG preview for Origins, and I saw that Caper is going to be available from Keymaster Games. They're going to have 200 copies of Caper at Origins. So I guess I got to add that one to my I need to go ahead and get list.
There you go.
Love Keymaster Games and definitely want to check out Caper.
Yeah.
And Brandon, you had something on a list.
I did.
Mine not coming, but you can still talk about them.
I could still, because I'm not gonna beg people to buy these for me.
That has occurred in the past.
It has occurred, and I'm past that. I think Gen Con, I may still do that, but I may actually show up at Gen Con for the first day. So, Warsaw: City of Ruins. It's a remake of a game from Grana Games, I believe. It's not a remake; they're just bringing it here from Grana Games. It's about Poland. Their capital, and it's tile placement, rebuilding everything. It's just really kind of a neat concept. You actually use the box as part of the game as well. I know North Star's got that for sale coming up, and you should go to the big North Star event, and I think they may have a surprise for you.
That's what I was talking about.
Yep. And then also I put Ingenious, which is just a re-release as well. So I'm not very fun. It's an old Kinesia abstract, but Cosmos is bringing it, and it's no longer
awesome game.
Yep, it's no longer going to be that ugly mass market game. That's the only way you can get now if you buy it from other places. And then what was the third one I put? Oh, Spy Tricks, which I know absolutely nothing about, but I know that it's trick-taking game with some hidden information in there. So, and that's from WizKids.
WizKids scares me. Has anyone played any of their stuff?
I like that they're kind of branching out and doing these. Did they not do
Zev
for Camelot as well?
Or so
Camelot,
recently. So I like that they're branching out and they're getting away from, everything that gave them trouble. Yeah, with the miniatures and stuff like that. So
yeah,
and if people are going to bring me trick taking games, I'm going to try them. So
okay,
Brandon. Do you know, have they changed anything in Warsaw from the capital?
I don't think that they've changed anything as far as what Bruce has told me. So
that's a great game. I played that a few times.
Oh, did you play the original?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, love it.
It's always been on my wish list since it came out. I just never did import it or anything. So we'll just have to buy it from North Star. But I won't make Patrick run to the thing and get it for me and then mail it to me.
I forget what I got you.
That was the Hanabi game from why can I not think of it now? I feel horrible. Just continue with the conversation.
No. I've got time to burn, so we'll just sit here and listen.
Listen to me, him and all. I'm trying to remember.
Anyway, I'll talk a little bit what I wanted to look at. So it's not for sale. It's not even going to be out anytime soon. But I'll go find my friend Paul Grogan in the CGE booth and have him show me the Adrenaline expansion. So, that's a family favorite of ours. Alan really likes that game a lot. We played it with him and Brandon.
Yep.
And he's not in the chat room, but Thomas and who else? Your brother-in-law.
My brother-in-law, Brad. Yeah, Brad. Played it all at the CGE.
Played it at CGE at Gen Con 300 years ago. Before it came out, and just have really enjoyed it. So I'm interested to see what that expansion is going to add. So just even if it adds some more weaponry and stuff, I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
I also have Welcome To on my list from Deepwater, and then Century Eastern Wonders is the expansion. So that was a huge hit last year. That was probably the big con of the game. People were lined up to get that. They had some sort of coupon in the book to get a free mat or something like that when you're discounted mat. And Emerson was there signing it. And since the con, my wife played it somewhere and really liked it, so we ended up buying it. And so I probably get it just to see how it plays and see how it adds to the game. I'm not sure if anyone know anything about it. I don't know anything about it other than
I don't know a lot about it. It's going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard from people who have played it that it's just fine as a standalone, but where it stands out is when you combine it
Right.
Century Spice Road. So
yeah, that's what Buscemi's telling me too.
Yeah.
That
I've got a friend at work who's wanting me to pick that up for them because they're really excited about that.
Yeah. It's one of the games I'm muling back for people.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not, I'm gonna wait for Golem to come out for the Golem one whenever it does.
Yeah, actually, I kind of like the Golem better version a little bit better, but it doesn't really matter. We have that one now. That whole thing is a disaster.
Not saying anything.
Smile and wave. Smile and wave.
Yeah, I don't mind. I prefer the Eastern that version to the Golem, but yeah. So what else is up, Patrick?
Well, we were talking about other side things at the con. So, did I talk about the El Grande game already? Was that off the air?
No.
We haven't talked about it yet.
All right. Well, I've got this annual grudge match El Grande game set up for Saturday afternoon. So last year we played it. It was a 5-player El Grande game, and we're going to reschedule it for this year. And it ended in a tie. And we got to find out who wins. There's no tiebreaker in El Grande.
Is there not? Oh my,
there is not.
Man.
And so we've rescheduled it for Saturday afternoon. That's one of the few games I have scheduled. And I'm very much looking forward to that. It's one of my top 10s. You hear about me, probably have to drink every time I talk about either El Grande or Glory to Rome. So,
drink.
Anyway, yeah, it's 2 drinks.
I'll drink
and I'm probably going to teach some people Power Grid. I don't know when. I think I have a list. I actually have a Google Doc that I usually share. That's like it's just a recurring con doc. It's like every, I just rename it and then it becomes the next con, and it has like things that I need to remember to bring, and it's stupid things like the ribbons for the podcast, a stapler to staple the ribbons to your thing because they always fall off if you don't staple them.
Oh Lord, Patrick, don't get yourself sued.
I think what else? Some aspirin. Don't forget to bring some painkillers because you're going to walk for 10 miles and you're not used to that.
Comfy shoes.
Comfy shoes.
If they run out of drugs, they can come to you, Patrick, to get drugs.
They can come to me. They can come to me.
You'll
for
be their supplier.
Yeah. Yep. I should bring up my list. I don't know. Anyway, just be prepared. My red wagon. Oh, I forgot the tablecloth. We completely forgot.
Oh yeah, let's talk about tablecloth.
So Ryan, do you have a tablecloth?
So I've heard about this. I've heard the tables are so terrible that you have to have your own tablecloth so you don't rip.
Just get a tetanus shot beforehand. You'll be fine.
There have been shots of tablecloth. I have a tablecloth. I actually was going to wear it as a cape tonight, but completely forgot until just now. Yes, it does double as a cape if you get cold or you want to pretend to be a superhero, or as a
in the convention center.
It varies. Now I'm gonna put on my architect's hat here for a minute. Convention centers, have a hard time controlling themselves for huge amounts of people, right? So a lot of times they will pump a lot of cold air into them, knowing that there's going to be 10,000 people there in a couple hours. So they'll be really cold for a little while, and then 10,000 people will show up, and then they'll be really warm or not really warm because they pre-cooled them. So that's it. I've got my orange hoodie, which I always bring to cons, and just in layers. Just be prepared for that sort of thing. That's normal for any convention centers, not that one.
Yeah,
this one does suck out your battery. It's horrible for Wi-Fi and signals. Get one of those big old battery pack things somewhere.
Do you have free Wi-Fi available over there?
There is, but it's crappy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you're not doing a lot of live streaming stuff.
Oh no! I don't do anything. I don't do anything at the show other than I might record on my little digital thing and then go back to the hotel room.
I think Buscemi's bringing his recording setup around for you.
Yeah.
Or something, but
yeah, I do some local digital stuff, but that's about it.
Okay, gotcha.
Ryan, you said I forgot who you said was going. Are you bringing your kids?
No, this first year we're not going to be bringing our kids, just because this is our first time going, and they travel really well. Our kids are 14, 13, and 10, and so they're super cool. They love gaming, but we don't want to try to navigate this thing for our first time and then also have to deal with, I don't want to be here right now.
I can't be doing something else. Yeah.
So they're
I was just kind of curious.
They're cool when we go to like local conventions in Atlanta and things like that. They're troopers. They're really awesome.
Because I know Origins is pretty family friendly, if I'm not mistaken.
I did want to chime in with that.
It is. We took our kid to Gen Con, 5-7 years ago when she was 7, I think. And my God, that was a mistake. So Origins I've always thought about taking them up to.
Yeah. There's a kid's room. For young kids to just drop them off almost and let them play. There's a lot of has been in the past, a lot of giant sort of oversized things that are just fun for kids to do.
They have an arcade room, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a art room. We didn't even talk about that. There's LARPing. My son was huge into that. There's a LARPing area down in the basement where you can sign in, use your generics, and beat each other with foam swords. Nice. There's something like I don't know if it's like a dungeon thing, but it's kind of like one of those upstairs in the other hallway. There's tons of role-playing events too, in the hallways down by the Hilton as well, where all the role-playing events happen. The Pathfinder stuff Society has a bunch of role-playing events that you can sign up for. What other things are in the convention center? There is let's see, where you get coffee. There's several coffee shops. I'm a coffee addict.
My wife will appreciate that because she needs to know where all the coffee stops are.
Well, yeah, there's the main coffee shop. There's a little coffee shop in the thing, in the convention center. That's just okay. And then there's the Crimson Cup, which is in the hotel lobby. And then down in the basement of it, there's another new coffee shop that has a couple other special things. And then up on High Street, there's a really good coffee shop. If you want to, walk 2 or 3 blocks outside the convention center, there's one on High Street. Nice. I like to go to. And there's some in the North Market. I think there's a coffee shop in the North Market. So, yeah, I'm a coffee addict. Last year, actually, Travis Hill was my roommate. I don't know if you know, Travis is he's super coffee guy.
Okay.
So we had like a coffee bar in our room. I brought everything. We had a pour over and a hot pot.
There we go.
And filters and everything. So we could have sold coffee. We were like a mini Starbucks in our room, because he's done that. He's done that for me when I've gone to Texas, and he's made coffee for me out of his room. So nice. I brought everything when he came to my hometown. So, hey, we're running out of time. I wanted you guys again to give you a second to talk about your shows and who you are and where we can find you before we run out of time. So, Ryan, tell us again who you are, where you're from.
Yeah, so Ryan with One Board Family. We started a family board gaming podcast. We're actually celebrating 2 years this month. So this is our 2-year anniversary as a site. So it came about because we were answering people's questions of what game should our family buy, because they saw our game collection. And so they were always asking, what should we buy? What should we buy? So one night we're sitting around the dinner table with some friends, and they were like, you really should start a blog. And so about 11 o'clock that night, I said, Aaron, we're going to do this. Let's do it. We started. I was up till 2 in.the.morning branding it, and it's been doing it for 2 years now. So nice. I love doing it. So it's definitely something we enjoy. It's oneboardfamily.com, board as in BOARD. And then we're on Instagram and now Twitter. I got Twitter shamed.
Was that by us at Punchboard, or was that just okay? Good.
Somebody from Gray Fox Games, they were like, "How come we can't tag you? We can't find One Board Family?" I was like, He was like, "Why don't you have a One Board Family Twitter account?" I was like, I just don't feel like managing another Twitter account. And then I felt so bad about it and so lazy that I just started one. A few minutes later, I was like, I guess I have to do this now. So
yeah, that's not horrible, but that's the gaming thing, I think. Yeah. Everyone's on Twitter.
Yep.
So. How about you, Sean? Who are you?
I'm Sean. a person, a human being. No. So I co-host a podcast called the All the Bits podcast. We are we like to call ourselves more of a variety show where we play weird games with each other and ask each other weird questions. My co-host Michelle and I, and we have a bit of a focus on components and bits and art and things like that. But we still talk about all of our plays and stuff. You can find us at allthebits.podant, PODIANT.co, as well as on Twitter at allthebitspod, and Instagram allthebitspod, allthebits on Facebook, all those places. And if I could just plug one thing I'm doing at Origins that I haven't brought up yet, I feel like I should. In my non incredibly celebrity inducing board game podcast hosting life, I'm a speech language pathologist, and one thing I do when I go to conventions, locally or bigger conventions, I usually run some sort of event or talk on communication and using board games for communication and the purposes of communication. So I will be doing that Friday at 2 p.m. at Origins. I think it's called Let's Get Talking or Let's Get Communicating, one of the two. But I will be doing that. So if anyone has any questions, if you have any kids or even adults, we do a section on adults and anyone in your life who might have autism, stuff like that. We talk about how to use board games and other geeky stuff for communicating.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
And Brandon, who are you?
I'm Brandon. I'm just here today.
Thanks. Brandon and I are occasionally found over on What Did You Play This Week podcast. Hey, and Brandon and Ryan and I are all members of Punchboard Media.
That's right.
Where
we all bring something
together. To the table.
Sorry.
I failed.
I didn't expect Ryan to.
Where we all bring something to the table. There, much better.
Ryan is allowed.
There we go.
Paul just got here. Or did I miss him in the chat?
He's been here.
I don't think
Bill's here too. Wow. No, the chat's not been working for me. Sorry, I had some chat problems here.
I haven't seen him chime in, so don't worry.
Okay. Oh, there's Bill. There's Paul.
Yep.
All right. So for those of you who don't know, the first Monday of the month is the tagline fail. Thank you, Bill. And Patrick brings the tablecloth. Yes, I bring a tablecloth. Hey, we're not, Chad, we're not, we're the worst Punchboard Media folks. Just have you know.
I'm working on it, Chad. It's my fault.
We'll get a soundboard. We're going to get a soundboard for this. Anyway, the first Monday of the month is, what is it? The After Dark?
Yeah, I think that's what he calls it.
Is the Cubist After Dark. So we will be closing down this show shortly. And you're all welcome to stay. I'll have to resend you guys the link, Ryan and Sean, if you want to stay. And that's where we're allowed to say the word that I said that you could say. If you want to stay on.
Well, we still frown on the duck word.
Oh, we still frown on the hockey puck word?
I think, but it's a little looser.
Okay. Anyway, we're allowed to get crazy and put on the Pikachu hat and just let it
shirtless Patrick is always welcome.
So anyway, Ryan,
I'm gonna need more bourbon.
I'm finishing up the Saison bread.
John and Brandon, I'm going to hit the stop broadcast button just in a second. But thank you all.
Thanks so much for having us, man.
Thanks for having us. Awesome to meet you all.
Looking forward to seeing two of the three of you at the convention. Thanks, guys.
Excellent.